Hello and welcome to Big Muddy Mayhem. This is the podcast where we talk about true crime and bad behavior in the Midwest.
Each week we will bring 2 stories from the heartland that might break your heart, but we hope to make you laugh along the way.
I'm Tracey and
And I'm Janet O'Brien.
All right, Janet, hello, how are you? I hope you had a wonderful Halloween.
I did, and I hope you did too. It was a lot of fun.
It was a little bit cold here in St. Louis, but still a good time. We both got to enjoy some spooky treats.
Excellent.
And now we have a couple of stories for you.
Excellent. So we should probably jump right in?
We'll jump right in. Okay. I believe that if we're getting muddy, I think it's my turn to get muddy first.
Yes, it is.
All right, fantastic. I am going to tell you a cryptid story this week. We are going to talk about Momo the Missouri Monster.
Oh, wow. Yay!
Now, I know that you have heard of Momo because
yes, I have.
You grew up around here.
I have.
I actually asked my coworker today who grew up in northern Arkansas if she had heard of Momo. And the legend just spread far and wide. She was at least aware of a little bit of the... a little bit of the story.
Awesome.
So this comes to us, as do we, from the 70s. So all the long, shaggy hair makes sense.
Yes, of course.
Right. So Momo the Monster is a cryptid that is has its origin story in Louisiana, Missouri.
Okay.
And it starts out July 11th, 1972.
Awesome.
All right. So, I can smell the Pall Malls from here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right. July 11th of 1972. 2 boys, a member of the Harrison family, were out playing in Louisiana, Missouri, a place called Star Hill.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all of a sudden, they start screaming. Older sister, her name is Doris Harrison. She hears screams like coming through the kitchen window.
Oh, no.
And so she goes running out. She sees what she describes as, or what they all describe as, a 7-foot, hairy, man-like figure holding a deceased dog.
Oh my gosh. So
I know.
That's horrible.
I know. And they also said that they smelled like an incredibly foul odor.
Wow.
You could blame it on the dog.
Yes, you could blame it on the dead dog.
But they're smelling a terrible odor, and there's this 7-foot hairy figure outside of their yard. They scream, they yell. It runs away.
Are you sure it's not like, Cousin Billy Bob or something like that?
You don't think so, no.
Oh, okay, I'm just checking.
Because they did say in the days following that he had a pumpkin-shaped head.
Okay.
Glowing eyes. And again, the one thing that comes back time and time again is that they say that there is this incredibly foul odor that comes off of this monster. So I'm going to show you a picture of and we'll put this up in our show notes.
Of course we will.
A picture of what the monster was supposed to have looked like.
Oh my God. It looks like a cartoon. You know what it looks like?
That red creature from Bugs Bunny. Yeah.
Gossamer from Bugs Bunny.
Yes.
Gossamer.
I was going to say absolutely a lot like Gossamer from Bugs Bunny, but smelly.
Okay.
All right.
And not red.
And not red. So it's a dark, hairy creature with glowing eyes and all of that. They go on, and it might just be sort of one of those mass hysteria things where, then all of a sudden everyone is seeing Momo everywhere. They're seeing all of these sightings this whole year in 1972. So much so that the fire department chief, who was on the city council, he was driving along one night, and he said he saw it in his headlights about 20 feet away.
Oh, my gosh. Wow.
And his quote was, "I thought it was a bunch of nonsense, but then I saw something." His name was Richard Allen Murray.
Okay.
He was the fire chief and, again, a member of the city council. Very respected person in the community.
And this is in Louisiana, Missouri.
Missouri. And so he sees it. So all of a sudden, it's serious. Like, it's not just a bunch of kooks.
Exactly.
So, next thing you know, a posse is formed.
Of course there is.
So they put together, it looks like at least 20 people, including agents from the Missouri Department of Conservation.
Oh my God.
And they go out to look for Momo.
So here we go again with the Missouri Conservation.
Right,
now
exactly.
they're hunting Momo.
Now they're hunting Momo. And so they go out and they don't find... Obviously, they don't find Momo. This would be a very different story.
Exactly.
But they did find some tracks that they thought might have been Momo, and they sent them to the director of the Oklahoma City Zoo.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And the Oklahoma City Zoo is on record of coming back and saying that these tracks were made by an unknown primate.
Wow.
So... aren't we all just unknown primates?
Right. So I guess the St. Louis Zoo was like, no, I'm not touching that.
I don't guess so. I mean, the St. Louis Zoo was certainly around at this time, but for whatever reason, the Oklahoma City Zoo is the one that took this on.
Okay.
They said unknown primate. However, they don't find anything else. And reports kind of go on and off and all of that. By 1972, the St. Louis Post-Dispatch reports that we're all convinced there's nothing up there now.
What does that mean?
That's a little suspicious. I don't know.
Now.
Right. So that is kind of what we know of Momo from out in the woods. One of the books that I read about this one of the articles, rather, that I read about this is from MissouriLife.com. Okay. And that is... a gentleman that he actually wasn't credited on the site, but he said that his dad was the local scoutmaster, the local pastor.
Okay.
Always took the kids camping.
Sure.
And one time they went on a camping trip and they found some really big footprints.
Right.
Now, this might be a little bit like a, what is it? The thing that they always have you chase at summer camp, where they're like, you go out on a snipe hunt.
Yes.
Right, you go out on a snipe hunt. So it might have been something that they had done then. Right. But they said they did smell the foul odor.
Oh, wow.
But then he said that a buddy of his found a really huge dead carp on the side of the river, not too far away.
Yeah, well, that is a thing, too.
So it could have been the fish. But anyway, his dad taught him the legend of Momo, and... he said that they ended with a little fluffy yappy dog that they named Momo. And when that dog had puppies, he said, "Oh yeah, I took one of the puppies, that was my puppy when I was growing up." And so whenever people would talk to him about the legend of Momo the Monster, he would say, "Oh yeah, I had one of Momo's babies when I was a kid." I had one of Momo's babies as a pet.
Wow.
So very cute. However, the legend does live on a little bit. First of all, there is a movie called Momo the Monster that was released in 2019. I'm going to show you the movie poster.
It looks like a ripped gossamer.
It does look like a ripped gossamer. And it was done in kind of a docudrama style.
Oh my God. Oh, that's awesome.
Flashbacks.
That's fabulous.
We are going to have to watch
Absolutely.
And it is just very, very campy.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
And so they interviewed a bunch of people for this and kind of, like I said, made the movie in 2019. And there is in particular one person that truly believes in this story. There is a guy named William McGee.
Okay.
In 1991, he was out in Louisiana, near where the sightings took place.
Sure.
I believe that the article said that he was part of a Navy honor guard, so he ended up all kinds of places for all kinds of reasons.
Oh, okay.
As part of the honor guard for, for people
sure.
that had served. Well, in 1991, he swears that he saw Momo. Mm-hmm. So much so that this kind of became his hobby, and in 2007, he bought land and built a house in Louisiana, Missouri. And as far as I know, might still be out there looking.
Oh my gosh.
I was going to say, there is also Louisiana, Missouri. As soon as this happened, it was really big for a couple of years. And then Seth Breedlove, who made the film that includes, William McGee and all of that, he said, this is a tiny town that was dramatically affected by the sightings. So they really did for a while. That was everything.
Wow.
But then it just sort of went away. And apparently Louisiana, Missouri did try to have Momo festivals.
Oh, that would have been fun.
The way they did for Mothman and some of the other cryptids. But apparently they never did catch on.
Now, how do we start that?
So I don't know. I guess we have to move to Louisiana, Missouri and buy a cabin.
I guess so.
However, Momo did live on until the mid-90s for a while in that our beloved theme park, Six Flags over Mid-America. That was one of the first rides that they installed after when they expanded the park. This is a theme park in Eureka, Eureka, Missouri. But yes, this is our Midwestern Six Flags, and the park expanded significantly in the mid-'70s, right around the time that you and I were years old. And, boy, they jumped right on it. All of these stories happened starting in 1972, 1973. They open up the attraction known as Momo the Monster.
Yeah, I love that ride.
I did too. It was one of my favorite ones. So Momo the Monster was kind of an octopus-shaped ride.
Yes, it was.
Where there were cars on the end of each arm, and the cars would spin independently while the ride also spun.
And the arms would also go up and down,
right,
too.
Up and down.
So it looks nothing like Momo, but that's what it was called.
Right. A little bit like a scrambler.
Yes.
But yes. So that was one of the first expansion park rides, and they kept it at Six Flags until 1994.
Yeah, they replaced it with the swings.
They did, which is nowhere near as fun.
Not as fun. Not at all.
All right. And so there's not a whole lot that we know. As far as I know, Momo is still out there, smelling terrible.
Right.
Hiding in the woods.
So all the terrible...
Hopefully not killing dogs.
Exactly, I know. So from all the terrible TV I watch, like especially on Discovery, where I end up watching things about cryptids or ghost whatever, because why not? Missouri apparently also has Bigfoots, and they have the same kind of thing to where there's a Bigfoot because of the big smelly smell. It's a skunk. Right. They call Bigfoot different things in different states.
Parts of the country.
Right. I think in Florida they just call it skunk ape.
Oh, okay.
Because it's so stinky. So maybe this was a version of...
A little bit. An unknown primate.
Yeah,
that could still be out there. So if you find yourself in Louisiana, Missouri, or in the Missouri woods, make sure to keep your ears and your eyes and your nose open.
Exactly.
For Momo the Monster.
Right.
And keep an eye on your dog.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Well, that is the story.
That is a great story. I love it.
The Monster.
Yeah, I missed that ride.
Me too.
So I have a story.
Yes.
It is... I'm trying to pick different states right now for each one in the Midwest. So let's see. I started with Kansas. My second one was in Missouri. This one is in Illinois. It is the Circus Train Wreck of 1918.
Okay.
So this also has a myth that goes with it.
Okay.
So we're going to start with the myth. It's about ghost elephants.
Oh no!
But just hear me out. So the myth goes is that there was a train wreck in 1918. It killed a bunch of people and supposedly animals, and they were buried in Woodlawn Cemetery, which is in Forest Park, Illinois, which is very, very close to Indiana. It's south of Chicago. The ghost story goes is that when the elephants were too big to bury, so they made a mass grave, and they put these big elephant statues where the trunks, like when you think of a circus, when you see a picture of an elephant, the trunks are always going up.
Raised, right.
Well, these elephants, the trunks are pointing down. So there's 5 statues where they're in mourning. And the story goes is that they buried the elephants there with other people who died in the wreck because they couldn't figure out who they were. And at night, people will hear the cries of elephants.
Did you know that an elephant with its trunk down depicted is bad luck?
Oh, really?
Well, you see, if you go to the Fox Theater in St. Louis, all of the elephants have their trunks raised, and no matter where you are in that theater, the trunks point towards the stage.
Oh, wow.
An elephant with its trunk up is like a good luck symbol in the theater.
Oh, okay. I did not know that.
So with a trunk down...
Yeah, bad.
Yeah, it's unlucky.
Yeah, I did not know that. So the 5 elephant statues, they couldn't move because of the elephants. They have 61 people in a mass grave along with some animals.
Oh, wow.
So the story goes, the elephants, when the wreck happened, the elephants have said what they did is they went around and they were trying to rescue the people on the train, the trapped performers, by pulling away the burning wreckage at the cost of their own lives.
We don't deserve animals.
No. Some nights, the haunting cry of the elephants can still be heard in the distance.
Oh, that's awful.
So here's the reality.
Okay.
The train did have animals, but they were already pulled off the main track. So no animals died during the wreck.
Oh, thank goodness.
The elephant statues were just there a few months before the wreck.
Wow, talk about pressing.
I know. So what happened is that part of the cemetery, there was a group called the Showman's League of America. They purchased a part of the cemetery, so any performers, circus-wise, if they passed away, they had a part of the cemetery where
these people were usually transient and not good at saving money.
Right. So this was already purchased for those people. And it was used for people in shows business, and the elephant statues were purposely put in mourning posture with the trunks down.
That's actually very sweet.
So that is what they did. The interesting information about this cemetery, before I go on with the story, is that the cemetery claims to be the first place where Memorial Day started.
Oh, that's lovely.
So, but many, many places claim this. What happened is shortly after the Civil War, a lot of people started to realize, a lot of people died in this country, and they wanted to honor them. And 3 years after the Civil War, John A. Logan, the head of the Organization of the Union Veterans, had a decoration day to decorate graves of the war dead with flowers. Mm-hmm. They did this in many, many states. But what he ended up doing is he actually declared Memorial Day on May 30th.
Oh!
So this guy from Illinois...
So there it is, and that's Decoration Day. And
and then it eventually became Memorial Day.
That's
so
lovely.
This same cemetery is where... It pretty much, yes, it was other places, but the guy who had the Decoration Day, that's really where it started.
I had no idea that tradition started here in our little Midwestern state.
Right, exactly.
Oh my gosh.
So here is what happened.
Okay.
The Hammond Circus. The train was used by Hagenbeck Wallace Circus. At its peak, it was the second largest to the Ringling Brothers.
Right.
Based in Peru, Indiana. They were founded in 1907 when Wallace purchased the Carl Hagenbeck Circus, and they merged the two together. They ceased their operation in 1938. Hagenbeck was an animal trainer who pioneered reward-based training as opposed to fear-based. So,
the positive reinforcement, which is
way better. Not always.
I mean, well, you know how I am with our pets. But.
Wallace was a stable owner from Peru, Indiana, and he partnered up with James Anderson and bought a circus in 1884 and created the Great Wallace Show. Wallace bought out his partner in 1890 and formed the B.E. Wallace Circus.
Okay.
So that's, anyway, they ended up merging together eventually and named it to this different circus. So in June 22nd of 1918, at the time, was one of the worst train wrecks in history. In 1918.
1918.
Yes.
Okay.
86 people died.
Oh, my.
127 people were injured. Locomotive engineer fell asleep and ran his troop train into the rear of the circus train near Hammond, Indiana. The circus train held 400 performers and 2 roustabouts. Those are the people that you just kind of pick up and go, hey, we need you for like a couple of days. You want some extra cash? Come along with us.
Can you shoddily put together a Ferris wheel?
Exactly. The train used old wooden cars lit with oil lamps.
Oh, my.
Yeah. The circus train had 2 segments. One was loaded with animals, but they had been dispatched earlier. The train with performers was left on the tracks. The reason why it was left on the tracks is that they were having an issue with the train, and so they were trying to fix it while it was on the tracks.
Okay.
Cars were being moved to a spot near Hammond, Indiana, to address the mechanical problem, and some of the cars were left on the main track. Early morning, engineer Alonzo Sargent was running a train with 20 empty Pullman cars.
Okay.
He slept very little for the past 24 hours. He had several heavy meals and some kidney pills. I don't even know what a kidney pill is.
I don't either.
Yeah, I don't know either. And the gentle rolling of his locomotive made him fall asleep.
It is very easy to fall asleep.
Oh my gosh, right? How many times have I fallen asleep on the Metrolink? I don't know. Oh my gosh. So at 4 a.m., Sargent missed at least 2 automatic signals and warnings posted by the brakeman of the 26-car circus train. He plowed into the caboose.
Well, we've all been there.
And 4 wooden sleeping cars at an estimated 35 miles per hour. The train passed over and through the wreck, left the rails, but didn't overturn. So he didn't die. So the guy running the train who barreled through the circus train didn't die.
Oh my gosh.
The train's lamp ignited the wooden cars and fire spread quickly. Signal tower about 100 feet from the accident phoned multiple people to get help for the victims. They used the Michigan Central Station as a triage.
Oh my gosh.
Most of the 86 people died in the first 35 seconds of the collision.
Well, there's that.
Yeah, I guess. The wreckage then caught fire. Many severely burnt to the fact where they were so burnt that they thought that the people were the porters, the black porters on the train, and they weren't. They were just severely burnt. They could not tell who they were.
Identifying the remains was difficult.
Yeah. The only people they could recognize was there was a strongman act, Arthur Durkee and Max Nietzborn, and then Jenny Ward Todd of the Flying Wards. There was 127 people injured.
Oh, wow.
So 86 died, 127 people injured.
Oh.
5 days later, 53 were buried in the Woodlawn Cemetery in Forest Park, Illinois, in a section called Showman's Rest. That was the place where they have the elephants, which the section surrounded with the mourning elephants. Only 5 of those people were identified. Most graves have unknown male or unknown female. And then there's a couple other graves that say Baldy, Smiley, and the 4-horse driver.
Oh, wow.
Because they didn't know who these people were. They didn't get names. It wasn't like, they signed any forms.
Right. You're like, but this is Baldy. I know it.
Exactly.
I'd know him a mile away.
Right. So after the accident, it caused by him falling asleep, Sergeant and Gustav Kloss, his fireman, they were convicted. I mean, well, they weren't convicted. They were arrested. Mm-hmm. The jury deadlocked, and a mistrial was declared.
Oh, wow.
And they dropped the charges in 1920.
Well, they had to live with...
Yeah, I can't even imagine, Yeah. I just can't even imagine. So, yeah, it was basically this ghost story because of the elephants, and the ghost story, it started probably in the late 50s, early 60s, because, you're walking through a creepy cemetery and they have these elephants there. But yeah, it was a mass grave. They could not figure it out.
And I wonder if, I don't know around what time this happened, but do you remember there was the Ringling Brothers? Didn't they have Jumbo?
Yes.
Their star elephant attraction was injured and I think killed in a train crash as well.
Oh, yeah, I think you're right.
I was going to say, I remember reading about that when I was a kid. I don't have any idea what year it was or anything like that, but I know that was Ringling Brothers.
Right. I think it makes me feel better that, he was trying to train animals the right way.
The right way, correct.
Right, and that the fact the animals did not actually die. I mean, it's terrible all those people died, obviously, but, So, yeah, that's the whole story, and it's basically it's town just south of Chicago,
and they still, the statues, the elephants,
they're still there. Yep.
Oh, that would be something wonderful to go and see.
Exactly.
Fantastic. Janet, thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, that was amazing.
So,
should we take a little break?
Yeah, we'll take a little break, and then we'll come back with...
What's nice here.
Exactly. If you are related to anyone we mention in these stories, please email us at bigmuddymayhem@gmail.com. Make sure to join our Facebook page, linked in the description. We now have merch, which is also linked in the description to help support our podcast. Now let's return to What's Nice.
Welcome back to Big Muddy Mayhem.
Welcome back.
We are here to talk to you a little bit about our cities and about what's nice here.
Exactly.
From this week's stories. So, Janet, my what's nice here this week was a little bit of a challenge because it's Louisiana, Missouri, which is a very, very small town.
Yeah, if you don't know, Missouri has many towns named after other places.
That's what Ryder said when I told him what I was doing. He's like, how come every town in this state is named after someplace else?
There's Cuba, there's Mexico, there's Louisiana.
It's absolutely true. However, the town of Louisiana, Missouri, while Momo might still be out in the woods somewhere, if you wanted something that you could go and enjoy today, they do have something lovely, and that is the Twin City Bowl.
Oh, okay.
They have a really cute bowling alley that was built in 1965. Mm-hmm. It's the Twin City Bowl and Spanish Room, which sounds so very fancy.
It does.
They do music bingo, where you, I guess, depending on whether or not you can name that tune, bingo meets name that tune. They have food and drink. They are still thriving.
Wow.
They have a lot of their old, original decor and original signage and all of that. They are family owned, and they are owned by a second generation of family.
Oh, wow.
As well. And so it is super, super cute. I am going to show you.
No.
Super cute. Janet, tell us what you see.
I see women's legs and bowling shoes, and they're holding bowling balls. And yeah.
I lined up in a little row, like the cutest little girl gang ever.
Oh my gosh.
And it is just, the space is absolutely adorable. It looks like, if you're as old as we are and you think about what a bowling alley ought to look like,
that would be it.
This is it.
Yeah, they have the screens now, but that's fine. It's fine.
Triangle-shaped tables with the cup holders in it. I love it. And all of that. So, if we should ever decide to go out and hunt for Momo, then I think that we should definitely make a side trip to go over to the Twin City Bowl and Spanish Room for a cocktail and a little bit of a snack, because it looks like they have an excellent snack bar as well.
Nice. I love bowling alley snack bars. Nice. My parents used to take me to Western Bowl in South City, and we would go there, and basically the kids would just run around, and we'd order pizza.
Oh, they had a playroom. Like, you could just go and drop. My parents bowled on a league when I was growing up.
So did mine.
And so, my mother was actually a bartender at a bowling alley.
Really?
In her 20s. When I was little.
My parents' bowling team was called the Top Bananas.
Oh, cute.
When my dad, when he turned 80 years old, one of his old bowling league people, Bobby, she showed up. She was there.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's
it's just
lovely.
Yeah. They bowled for a long time. But I used to, oh my God, the manager there would try to not pull his hair out over us.
That's why they all had arm and shoulder problems when they got there, right?
Exactly.
Like, you're not meant to do that.
No.
All right.
So, my what's nice.
I was going to say what's nice.
I am going with Hammond, Indiana, where the accident actually happened. Okay. Like Hammond, Indiana, south of Chicago. Hammond, Indiana.
Hammond, Indiana.
Is the home of Purdue University.
Okay.
So Purdue University was opened, they held their first class on May 6th of 1869. There was a whole 6 instructors there and 39 students.
How many chickens?
I don't know. In 1874, there was a campus of 5 buildings. They completed the campus for 1874. The first degree, I don't understand. So they didn't open for very long, and they already have their first graduate in 1875 with a Bachelor in Science of Chemistry.
This is also when you could just move to a new town and decide you were a doctor.
Exactly. Their first female student was admitted in 1875 as well.
Wow.
Right? They believed in liberal education with an emphasis on science, technology, and agriculture. Here's a fun fact. In 1935, they started to do, they actually built an airport that was owned by the university on campus.
Oh, wow!
And you could take credited courses on how to fly at Purdue University in the 1930s.
I'm just picturing the people that are doing their work study as air traffic controllers.
So in 1935, they hired as a faculty member to consult for the flight courses Amelia Earhart.
Shut up!
I am not kidding.
Oh my God.
So because of that, she helped train and they helped with the students. And then in 1936, the Purdue Research Foundation provided funds so she could purchase that Lockheed Electra 10E that she flew in her attempted flight around the world.
Mm-hmm. So when your professor's more than 15 minutes late, you get to leave class, right?
Right.
Also, I hope that all of those students got like an automatic A for that semester.
I know, isn't that crazy? In the 1890s, they actually started letting, they had black graduates there, but they weren't allowed to live in the residence halls until the 1940s because, segregation in the U.S. sucks sometimes. And then Helen Williams became the first black faculty member in 1968.
Oh, wow.
There are many alumni there. There are 25 alumni students from Purdue University that are astronauts, including Neil Armstrong.
Oh,
yes.
My gosh. Oh, that's wonderful. Well, that is something that is nice here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic. Well, thank you all for joining us and listening to a couple of our stories. And getting muddy with us.
Yeah, I'm so glad you joined us. We had such a good time telling these stories again.
Absolutely. Don't forget to follow us, rate, review, wherever it is that you listen to your podcasts. Janet, what platforms are we on right now?
So we're on Spotify. We're on Apple Music. We're on
YouTube.
It's no video. It's just voices, but that's okay. We are also on... what is it called? The radio one. iHeartRadio. Yes, that's like you normally hear about our iHeartRadio if you listen to just regular radio stations.
Fantastic, and we also have a Facebook group. Feel free to join. We have a lot of fun. We can you can suggest podcast episodes in there, and if there's a platform that we aren't currently servicing that you would like us to, then you can let us know, and we will jump on it. And otherwise, until next week, we thank you for listening. We hope you stay muddy.
And I hope you come and listen to us again and become our Muddy Buddies.
And be Midwest nice.
Be Midwest nice.